Among the 9 panels, which all are similar to each other? Can you group them?
All corners are similar.
All the corners. Okay. So let me call that as what the nomenclature I used here is S3. Okay, fine. So all these are similar. I'm just giving them some name. What else are similar?
And then the 4000 span, those and
Which one? Which one?
their diagonals. Their diagonal elements. I mean, the in between the corners.
In between the corners. So this and this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So in between the corners, they are similar. Is this and this similar?
Yes, sir. Even that is also similar.
They are similar. This and this. The diagonally opposite. No, they are not similar. So what is? So this panel is similar to which panel? So you would probably predict that this and this are similar. Okay, and of course this is separate. Okay, so now when I list these things, S1, S2, S3, S4. Okay, so I have these 4 different types of panels that I have with me. So in your IS 456, if you have a look at that table, you'll be able to categorize each of them. Okay, so I have all this. Is there an interior panel in this? And do you find any interior panel as defined by this particular? Are there any interior panels in this floor? Which one?
S4.
S4 is an interior panel. Okay, good. Okay. Okay, now S3. Let's have a look at S3. S3 is a panel where adjacent edges are continuous. Okay. So basically, we're coming to this. Okay, so I suppose we have this as well, 2 adjacent edges discontinuous, and we can use that for S3. Okay, S3 corresponds to adjacent edges are discontinuous or continuous. Okay, so what is the term used in discontinuous? Okay. How about S2? What type of boundary is S2? Let me go back to this. So S2, which one fits? Do you think?
One long edge discontinuous.
One long edge discontinuous. Okay. Basically, this is a long edge, so this is discontinuous. And of course, you'll be able to predict for S1. So S1 would be what?
One short section discontinuous.
One short edge discontinuous. Okay, so like good. So we have arranged all of this into different types of panels. Okay. So the next thing is we start with our design, and we can start. We can say that no, we have to decide the thickness for this particular slab. Okay. So you may think that okay, all these are different spans. So definitely the moments may be different, and you may think okay, let us calculate the moment for each of them. Let us provide thickness for each of the slab differently, because each of these type of S1, S2, S3, S4, all those panels will have different bending moments. So you may think okay, all of them can have different thickness for the slab. That is technically yes, you can do that, but practically speaking, nobody does that. Okay, whenever you have an entire floor system like this, in general, it is a good idea to give the same thickness for all the panels. Okay, it's always a good idea to give the same thickness for all the panels. So to decide my thickness based on my L by D ratio, Okay, the first thing that I have to do is, for example, I need to decide my span. Okay, so effective span is nothing but let me assume the thickness of my slab equals 1. Let me see. Okay, overall, the effective depth be about 150 mm. Okay, so let this thing be used. Another thing that you have to remember for slabs, for two-way slabs especially, is when you have this LVD criterion, you have a different thing. Okay, so this is the thing you have to remember. For two-way slabs, so it says for shorter spans up to 3.5 meters. All our spans are actually more than 3 meters. Okay, 3 meters, 4 meters, and 5 meters. Those are the spans that we have. So in general, we could have actually used this, but since we do not have our restriction within 3.5 meters, neither is our loading less than 3 kN per meter square. Okay, I have shown 1 and 4 as the dead load and live load. So the total load is 5. It is also not going to satisfy within this particular property. So we may not probably be able to use this, but anyway, what we have to use is we should use the span to overall depth ratio. Okay, rather than using span to effective depth ratio as for a beam. Okay, so that's one difference. But anyway, since yeah.
So like even for the simply support, for the one-way slab, even they gave like L by T effective, sir.
Come again?
Like for the one-way slab, in the total provision they gave length by effective depth ratio, sir. Like it will be like 20 or 25 or whatever.
No, that's what. There's no specific specification saying for one-way slab use a specific ratio. Okay.
So like we can use both like L by D effective ratio or.
See, when you have come to solid slabs, this LBD ratio, you have some provision only for this. Okay.
So like here they gave the provision of 23.2 for beam apparatus.
That is, yeah, that is 23.2 is this thing. Okay.
Yes, sir. There they gave like for simply supported, it will be like L by D effective. It's like 20 for one-way slab.
Yeah. For one-way slabs, you will use this.
So like we can use for one-way slab length by D effective rather using length by hold.
For what?
Is it like allowed to use that or like we can use it?
What?
Like is it allowed to use L by D effective ratio for one-way slab rather using L by hole depth?
See, for slabs usually you will use one-way slab, and as I told you, it's like an extension of doing a beam. Okay, it's just a different. It's a unit strip beam. That's what a one-way slab is. So when you use L by D ratio for that, you can just go ahead and use this, whatever you have done over here. Okay, basic spans of effective depth to span ratios. Okay, so these can actually the span to effective ratio, you can use the same thing, 720 and 26, which is used for beams. Okay, there is no specific provision saying that for one-way slab use a certain number. There is no such provision given in IS 456. IS 456 gives a different provision only for two-way slabs. Okay, so in the absence of a different provision for one-way slab, use the same provision which you are using for beams. Okay, and even for two-way slabs, there are restrictions on using these numbers. Okay, in terms of the span and in terms of the load. Okay, so in general, so for this particular problem which we are doing now, we cannot use even this. Okay, and we do not have anything else to use except we are able to only use what is given over here. Okay, because we do not have a load less than 3, we do not have a span less than 3.5. Okay, so therefore we have to go with what is present over here. Okay, we have to go with this. Only thing is, this provision over here has told us, given a hint that for two-way slabs they are using this span to overall depth ratio. So therefore that criteria alone will adopt. but the numbers which we adopt, we cannot adopt these numbers. Okay, we have to adopt the numbers which are present previously. Okay. So if we assume we do not know the effective depth, so if this is effective depth, then probably the overall depth may be close to 30 plus 10 mm diameter now, or 40, about close to 200 mm. It may be close to 200 mm. Okay, we are not sure about that. Might be close to it. Right. Okay. So this is done. So with this, we can actually find the effective span. Okay. So effective span is clear span, which is already given over here, plus effective depth. Okay. So this equals our clear span. The largest clear span that we have is 5,000. Okay, it's 5 meters, and the effective depth which we have is 0.15. Okay, so 5.15 meter. So let us just check whether from deflection criterion this this effective depth is sufficient or not. Okay, or rather this overall depth is sufficient or not. So my effective depth is 5.15. So my L by depth ratio 5150 by 200. Sorry, not 200. I have to check. Okay, then this is okay. So how much do you get 5150 by 200?
25.75.
20?
5.75.
25.75. Okay. This is approximately equal to 26. So therefore I can say it's okay. There's another trick with respect to slabs. So in general, this I mentioned once when doing one-way slab also. So usually when the final PT, for slabs will be between 0.3 to 0.6% or 0.7% or something like this. Okay. So which means you can modify by 1.5 approximately. Okay, so this is one trick which you usually can use. So you are allowed to actually do and say you are actually allowed to do a check like this. So my depth should be greater than this L by whatever that ratio, maybe if it's 26. Okay, so you actually allowed to just do this, but it's not necessary. Okay, so if you're not convinced by this this is thing which I've said over here, it's okay if you do not do this modification. You can just go ahead with what I've shown above itself. Okay, but anyway, so I just mentioned in this as a side note. So this we are seeing that it is greater than 26. Okay, 26 is the number which I shown above. Okay, this is a slab which has continuous system, so I can use 26 itself. Okay, so I'm able to get this. So let me proceed with saying that D is 200 mm. Okay, then my Ly by Lx. Okay, so if I look at the system over here, S3 and S2 will have the same aspect ratio. S1 and S4 will have the same aspect ratio because they are in the same. They are on the same size. Okay. The only thing is the effective spans along y direction. So Ly everywhere is this one 5150 or 5.15 meter. Similarly, if I take Lx1 and Lx2, what I mean by Lx1 and Lx2 is see I have two short spans. One is 3 meter clear span, another is 4 meter clear span. So corresponding to them, I'll have a similar spans. I'll have 3.15 meter and 4.15 meter. So with this, I'll be able to find the aspect ratios. S1 and S4 are 5.15 by 4.15. So Ly by Lx. Okay, for S1 and S4 are 5.15 by 4.15. So how much is this? And for S2 and S3, it's 5.15 by 3.15. So how much are the aspect ratios? These two. How much are they? 5.15 by 4.15, how much?
One point 241.
1.241.
241.
No?
241.
1.2. So similarly, if you do this, we get about 1.60. Okay. So this is the aspect ratios. This is also done. Next is the load calculations. Okay. So one by one. So self weight is. So I have said that the overall depth of the slab is going to be 200 mm thickness slab. Okay. It's actually, I think it's quite big. Anyway, let's continue with it. I could have actually used a smaller thickness for 5 meter by 4 meter and all. For 5 by 4 meters, 200 mm is quite big. Okay. Actually, 150 mm, overall depth 150 mm itself would have been sufficient. But anyway, since I started with this, let me continue with it. So, self weight cubic nothing but 25 into 0.2 for 200 mm depth. So, this is the self weight. Live loads, I've told you, live load is 4. And dead load is 1. So, how much is 25 into 0.2? 5. So total is 10. So fact kilonewton per meter square. So factored load is how much? How much is the factored load?
15.
15. So this is my W, not WU. Right, now all this is done. Now my job is to find out coefficients for all these cases. Okay, so moment coefficients. So let's come one by one. So first slab, let me just tabulate it. Okay, so I'll make a tabulation like this. I say 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 slabs, S1, S2, S3, S4. So the aspect ratios are, this one is 1.24, this is also 1.24, these are 1.63. These are the aspect ratios. So this is Ly by Lx panel. Then I have alpha x positive, alpha x negative, alpha y positive, alpha y negative. Now one by one. So S1, have a look at your notebook. What type of a panel was S1? Just look at what you written down. Okay, So what type of panel was S1? What have you written down?
One short edge discontinuous.
One short edge discontinuous. So I told you yesterday there's a mistake in this table. This is actually one short edge discontinuous. It's written continuous. It's a typing mistake. Okay, this is discontinuous. So you're going to use this second case, and the aspect ratio for S1 is 1.24, I suppose. So if you look over here, the LB ratios are 1.2, 1.3. So in between that, you'll have to choose. You can interpolate. Okay, you are allowed to interpolate it, but if you do not want to interpolate and you want to make an approximation, make an approximation on the conservative side. Okay, meaning that take the higher alpha. Okay, if you do not want to interpolate. So for example, now we have 1.24. So I can interpolate for 1.24 between 1.2 and 1.3 based on this 0.048 and 0.051 and 0.036 and 0.039. So I can interpolate it or if you're feeling a bit, I mean, you do not want to interpolate, then instead what you can do is you can just take 0.05 and 0.039, the higher value. Okay, if you do not want to do it. So I'll interpolate for 1. Okay, actually people know interpolation. Do you want me to interpolate or shall we proceed with the conservative side? What do you want to do?
Proceed.
Your choice. Do you want to interpolate or do you want to do the conservative one?
No need to interpret, sir.
Conservative one. Fine. Okay, then release the conservative one. No issue. So fine. So this I told you. This is the conservative ones. This is for alpha x. The conservative value between 1.2 and 1.3. Okay. So 1.24 is approximately 1.25. So 0.048 and 0.051. Let me take about 0.05, and for positive moment, let me take about 0.038. Okay, it's just approximation. 0.05 level. 50 and 0.03. Okay. As far as alpha x, alpha y, as far as alpha y is concerned, no issue. For all the spans, it's the same as long as we have a particular range. So therefore, 0.037 and 0.028. Right. Next is S2, which is 1.63. What type of an edge is S2? What type is S2?
One long edge discontinuous.
Okay. Aspect ratio, what do you see?
1.63.
1.63. So if I look over here, I have 1.5, then I do not have 1.6 or 1.7. It's directly 1.75. So no, just tell me. No, do you think 1.63 is approximately midway between 1.5 and 1.75? Is it approximately midway?
Yes,
1.63 lie almost at the middle, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when you are able to guess like that, just take the midway between the coefficients. So 0.067 and 0.077. Okay, next the gap is like 10, or gap is like 0.01. So I'll just add 0.005 to it. So 0.072 I'll take for this. And how much do you take for this? How much will it come? Midway between 0.051 and 0.059, how much?
.055.
0.055. So 0.072 and 0.055. 0.0. Oh, actually, I reversed it. I think this is negative and this is positive. No. Yeah, the top one is negative and the bottom one is positive. So this is actually reversed. Sorry, 0.050, 0.038. Okay. 0.038. Okay, please read the leftmost end of the column. See which is negative and which is positive. I just note it like this. So this was available with 0.02, 18.037. See, always remember, even in your continuous beam or whatever that you have, always remember the negative movement will always be higher. Go back to your one-way slab, the continuous one-way slab design. One thing we did, so we had that dead load into L square by 16 plus live load into L square by 12 for exterior panel. Then the first interior panel, something we had for midspan moment, dead load into L square by 10 plus live load into L square by 9. So like that, you saw all those things. If you observe that, always the negative moment coefficients will be higher. So it's the same thing here also. Always negative moment coefficients will be higher. Okay, so what did we find? 0.055 and 0.072. Right, and then The other one is the same, 0.028 and 0.037. Then we have S3. What is S3? What category is S3? Huh? What is the category of S3?
Adjacent existing pairs.
Adjacent existing pairs. So we have this. So you have to take this case. This aspect ratio is the same. It's between 1.63. So therefore, you can take midway between these numbers 0.075 and 0.084, 0.056 and 0.063. So you can take midway between them. So just have a look at that and tell me what the negative. First one is negative moment. Next second one is positive moment coefficient. So what is the negative moment coefficient for S3? Tell the midway value. What is negative moment coefficient? You just take the difference, divide by 2 and add it with the lower value. How much do you get?
0.0795.
0.07. I'll keep the 0.079. How about for alpha x plus? Positive moment coefficient.
Zero point zero five nine five.
0.593, and of course negative moment coefficients no problem because we have it's constant. So 0.035 and 0.047. 0.047. Okay. Right. And then next one is S4. The one S4 is Visa. It is an interior panel. So anyway, this one let me not waste time. Let me just proceed. So this is 1.24, meaning it's midway between 1.2 and 1.3. So I'll take the midway of this, which is 0.034 and 0.045. Okay, so 0.034. And the other end question is 0.024 and 0.032. Now, just as a side note, I want you to compare the ratio between negative to positive moments for any combination over here. So, for example, probably you can choose. Try to find the ratio between alpha x minus and alpha x plus here. So, probably you can try similarly for this one, and probably try for this one also. What ratio do you get? Negative to positive coefficients over here. Approximately, what ratio do you get?
1.32.
Point?
1.32.
1.32. Okay. For all of them? More or less for all of them, you get the same ratio.
Yes, sir, somewhere similar to 1.317 to 1.3.
So 1.313233. No. If you want to convert it to a proper fraction, what fraction would it be? Approximately what? A nice fraction, nice proper fraction.
4/3.
But always, no, in general, your negative quotient will always be approximately equal to 4/3 of your positive quotient. Okay, so in fact, if you find one of this, you can just do this conversion and buy the next one instead of interpolating or doing anything. So that is another small trick that you can always notice. Okay, so this we have done. Now further job is now using this, we are going to use the formula Okay, so mx is equal to alpha x wu lx square. My equals alpha y wu lx square again. So if it's a positive moment, then it's the positive coefficient. Similarly, you also have my minus equals alpha x minus wu l x square, mx positive, because alpha x positive. I'm looking at negative now. Sorry, I'm just confusing you a bit. Mx negative equals alpha x negative wu lx square. Lx square also alone will be same for whether it is mx or my. It will not change to ly. Okay, so please remember that. So the same thing I can do now. I have 4 different moments. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So tan mx plus mx minus alpha y plus alpha y minus. Okay, I'll just write the value of lx over here. Okay, so s1, s2, s3, s4. So s1 and s4 are similar. No, s1 and s4 it is 3.15 lx in meters. Lx in meters 3.15, 3.15. These two are 4.15. Right now you can retain everything in because the load is also what we are given now. W is 15. Okay, so WU is 15. So that is also in kilonewton per meter square. This is also in meter. So you can retain it in. You can find the answer in kilonewton meter now. Okay. So instead of doing everything, probably you can tell me about. So the good thing is, probably some of you can. So which one will be larger than this? Approximately the largest moment is in mx minus and mx minus and mx. Okay, find 2 of them. We can find mx minus. So for the sake of time, I'm telling. Find out all the values of mx minus and m. My plus. Actually, you have to find all of them, but because we do not have sufficient time, I'm restricting it to finding these. Okay. So what is for S1, S2, S3, S4 for all these panels? What are mx minus and my plus? Okay, just use these formulas. Use the relevant coefficients. So for mx plus, you're going to use these coefficients. Okay, and these coefficients to find out the moments for these. Okay, so take a couple of take some time. Okay, so meanwhile I'll also proceed with the next table. So I'll probably show it here. So the next thing that we'll be finding is the percentage of reinforcement. So that same thing is used for training people. So we'll find this out. Among this, only the maximum moment is going to be. Okay, so based on that, we'll find the.
So showing that 4.58 coming like inside the root, like 1 minus root 1 minus 4.59 mu by FC cube is
சொல்லு 1 minus
root 1 minus
it will be the root. So there'll be the root will start here. 1 minus.
so no sir, like 50 FCK by FY into 1 minus root 1 minus 4.58 FC mu by FCK.
Oh, root 1 minus root of 1 minus 4.58. Mu, no?
Yes, mu by FCK d square.
Slipped my mind. Okay. So anybody has values of mx minus or my plus for any of these? So we have about 5 minutes, so I want to find at least a few PT values before that. Any mx minus values or my plus values? How much? Not audible, pa?
4, sir.
No, actually I'm not able. It's coming and then it's stopping. I'm not able to hear you fully. Try again, no? Let me see if I can hear you. Come on, otherwise somebody else. Somebody else can try.
Answer, sir. Sir.
9 point? 9.75.
The MX next.
So 7.44.
For S1.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Next one.
4.16.
MI plus or S2? Which one?
The MX plus 5.65.
MX for S2.
So for S2, 18.6.
For S2, 18.6. Okay. Then?
Sir, I've calculated all the values for S1 and S2.
Okay. S1 and S4?
So like MX plus, MX minus, MY plus, MY minus.
Oh, you told in this way from here to here, everything for S1. Okay, that's okay. Find it and keep, no problem. But because I want to complete this, I'm asking. S3 and S4 values has anyone obtained for MX minus?
So 20.4.
20.41.
20.4. Okay. Right. S4?
6.69.
6.69. Okay. So now coming to my plus.
The 4.17.
4.17. Okay. Then
7.23.
how much 0.23?
7.23.
7.23. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. From fine, might be right. The others also just check because I mean
So 12.14.
12.1. Okay, because I used a different depth over here, so I cannot compare with what I have. So whatever you tell only is correct. And then S4.
So 4.76.
Okay, fine. So these are the values of maximum X negative and maximum Y positive moments. So actually speaking, you will have to find out all these values because you will need to find what the reinforcement for positive in the X direction is to be provided, what the negative X direction reinforcement is to be provided, what positive Y direction reinforcement is to be provided, and what negative Y direction reinforcement is supposed to be provided. So only if you find all these cases, you will be able to pick what is the maximum moment of each case. Okay, for example, here I am able to find the maximum X negative moment is this, and the maximum Y positive moment is this. Similarly, I need to find the maximum of this and the maximum of this. Okay, and I need to find the corresponding reinforcements to all of this. Okay, so that's actually needed to be done, but for the sake of time, I'm not doing that. So right now, obviously the first thing that we're going to check is whether the depth is sufficient. Okay, so what I know is, I'm just telling you, you can verify it later if you want. The maximum magnitude moment among all of this, will actually be this. So for this alone, I can check whether the depth is sufficient. So mu, which is given by 18.6 into 10 power 6 equals, this is the grade of concrete and steel are M20 and Fe415. Okay, so M20, Fe415, so therefore I use 0.138 into 20 into breadth, we always take as 1000 since it's a slab into D square. So find out how much is D required. Okay, we should have a depth which is more than this. Actually, it will be much more what we provided, but still, what we provided will be actually much more. But anyway, you need to show it but you need to check it and show it that yes, it has come more. So how much is the depth required? What is coming? How much is the required depth that you get? Quick. We need to close the class. How much is the required depth?
The 82.09.
80?
2.09.
You require only 82.09 mm. We have given 150 mm effective depth. If you go back, we have given 150 mm. So we have given it because for the reason of deflection and all those things also. So this is definitely lesser than actual. So therefore it's okay. So once this is done, then we can just go ahead and use the same value of D, which is 150 mm. Okay, we can use here what we provided is 150 mm, so we can just use that. Mu, you will have to substitute the cursor, whichever moment you are finding, that value of mu you will have to substitute to find these things. FCK is 20, this is 415. Breadth you will take 1000 obviously. So these are the things that you're going to use. So here let's not do everything, no, we don't have time. So let's just find it out for what is the reinforcement that is required for this and this alone. We'll find out. Okay. But similarly, you will have to find out for each of them, and then you'll use the maximum. You'll use the governing reinforcement among all these cases. Okay. Anyway, I'll just come to that. Just first now find out just for this and this. Okay, just find out this value of PT and this value of PT.
Sir,
Yeah.
so actually that 12.1 which you have circled, it's
Huh.
coming to 9.04.
Oh, it's not 12.1. This is not 12.1. Somebody told that 12.1. That's what I wrote.
Yes, sir, I only told, sir. I rechecked it.
Okay, fine.
Sir, even and that will be 3.57, sir, rather 4.76.
With the first one,
No, sir, like the last one, S4 MOE plus.
or this one.
Yes, sir. There will be 3.57.
Okay, this 18.6 and all are correct, no?
Oh, yes, sir, those are correct. I think.
Or you used the wrong span. Okay, fine, no problem. Fine. So based on this, what do you get for PT? Just two alone tell me. Others we don't need to find out. You can, if you want to do it, you can do it at home. The remaining ones.
Sir,
Yeah.
then while we are taking MU, we are taking the max value, right? So then why we are not taking 20.4?
Oh, 20.4. I forgot to say that. Correct one. Okay, anyway, but still, then this will change. So this will become a bit larger. It will become a bit larger. It will still be safe though, so no problem. You're correct, one. You should actually take this one. I didn't notice that 20. Thank you. 18.6 is 20. I didn't see it. I don't know why. You should take this one, correct. Okay. But if you found it out for 18.6, leave it. Don't need to recalculate PT. Whatever you found, you tell me. If you found it for 18.6, tell me what you found for 18.6. PT value. Okay, at least still one of them, no? Either MX plus PT or PTY plus. Whatever you found, just tell me, no? I want to process some. Sigrappa, we have already taken more than 5 minutes extra. I want to stop. Which one? Any value that you have, tell me. Whichever panel, whichever moment. PT, some PT, tell me, no?
So 0.254
For which?
S3 MX minus.
See, MX minus.
Yes, sir, so it will be
Point?
PT minus 0.254.
Okay. So anyway, so this is one particular percentage that is found. Like this, you'll have to find for each of them. Okay, so you'll be finding 4 values here, 4 values here, 4 values here, and again 4 values here. So what you can do is you can, if you want, you can provide each panel separately the reinforcements in X, Y, positive and negative directions. If you want, you can do that. Or if you want it to be a more uniform arrangement of reinforcement for the purpose of giving it to the contractor, and for all practical convenience, what you can do is you can say that this is the governing reinforcement for this particular direction, X negative direction, and similarly for PT X positive direction, whichever is the governing one, probably it will be maybe S2. So you will give whatever PT is governing for this case for PTX plus for all the panels. And similarly for this one also you'll find something to be governing. Probably this is governing. That's what we saw over here. So you'll provide this particular PT for all the panels in Y positive direction. And similarly, if you find this is the governing for PTY minus, you can provide the same percentage of steel in this for not percentage, the same AST for all this together. Okay. So for example, you may find for this particular thing. So usually for slabs, 10 mm diameter is most common. Probably if it's a bit heavy, you can use 12, but very rarely people give more than 12 mm diameter for a bar. So don't go beyond the 10 and 12 for diameter of bar for a slab. Okay, so based on this, you can find AST equals this PT into BD by 100. You'll get something, and based on whatever diameter you chosen, you'll give some X diameter bar at something. Let me say something center to center you'll give. Okay, so whatever you find, you'll give the same spacing, same reinforcement for all of this. Similarly, what you find for this one, you'll give the same diameter, same spacing for all of this, and likewise. Okay, so that's what you will. That's how you design a slab, and then based on what you found, you can just do the drawings as per SP34. Okay, so that's what. So I'll close with this. Okay, so I have. Okay, I'm just seeing there's a transcript of whatever I have said. I didn't know this feature was there. Okay, but so I'll meet all of you on next Tuesday. Thank you for adjusting and joining. So some students requested that they wanted a holiday. Class will be cancelled today, but I told you the reason why I cannot do it. And you joined, so thank you for that, for cooperating. I'll meet you all next Tuesday. So have a happy Diwali. Enjoy and come back next Tuesday in a more come back happier on Tuesday.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, fine. See you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.